What is going on, Colts Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Your guy, Cody here, and we're a few days removed from the Indianapolis Colts' last game on Thursday Night Football, their ugly, ugly win against the Denver Broncos, where neither team scored an offensive touchdown, and the Colts win 12-9 in overtime. So, with that being said, we've said a lot about our instant reactions, our thoughts on this game, and so I wanted to quick give my stock up, stock down report. We haven't done this in a couple weeks, but I'd like to do this because I think there's a lot of interesting conversations that need to happen here. And the good thing I think for the Colts, even though this game was supremely ugly, is there's a lot of stock up guys in a lot of different positions. And really, the stock down positions, there's really only two that I can come up with. So I guess if there is any silver lining, it's that outside of these really two positions that are really kind of struggling for this team, there's a lot of positions that are doing really well for this team as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's just get the bad out of the way right away. Let's start with the stock down. I could really honestly say every single player of this offensive line I could put on this stock down report. It was a really interesting change the Colts decided to make kind of last minute where they had Braden Smith slide into right guard. They put Matt Pryor at right tackle. Matt Pryor was clearly the biggest liability out there. Had one of the worst performances of the 2022 season from an offensive lineman, allowed so many pressures, hits, sacks. It just seemed like he didn't want to be out there and play at right tackle. And so all in all, that cannot continue. Matt Pryor cannot see the field anymore at right tackle or really any position as a starter. And so he really struggled. I thought Braden Smith had some miscommunication issues, and that'll probably happen, right? If you're going from right tackle to right guard with a new right tackle, that's going to take a little bit of time. And Braden Smith really never played guard at the NFL level. And so, but all in all, I felt like Braden Smith actually had a decent game at right guard, but it'll be interesting to see, do they keep him there or do they move him back to right tackle? Because Matt Pryor cannot be staying at right tackle. So Braden Smith might have to slide back in there, and maybe like Will Fries goes at right guard. Ryan Kelly continues to struggle. I know he went out of that game with an injury. So Danny Pinter was in that game. And I thought Danny Pinter played pretty well, all things considered. It's just wild how better he is at center than he is the guard positions. And then obviously left guard, Quentin Nelson was okay. He had a couple times where he didn't look great at left guard, and then Bernard Ryman at left tackle as well. He had his moments where he looked good. I thought he really settled down in that second half and looked pretty solid. Had a couple penalties, a lot of holding penalties. I thought a couple of them were kind of tic-tac calls, not really I thought they were kind of weak calls personally, but he did have his struggles at times, but I think you got to continue to build him up and build his confidence at left tackle. All that to say, I felt like it could have been a lot worse at left tackle for Ryman. Wasn't great. I thought he was okay. But I just wanted to see Kim continue to build that continuity at left tackle. So this offensive line, there's a lot of moving pieces right now, a lot of question marks, but that unit did not look good at all on Thursday Night Football. Too many free rushers again. Right after the Colts talked about how they have to clean it up, they actually looked worse somehow as a unit on the offensive line against Denver. But that's really the only unit I would say deserves a huge blame. The other unit, I guess, that you can point to, really one guy. It's only one guy in this unit that's a starter, and that's the quarterback position. Matt Ryan did not look great at all on Thursday Night Football. I think it was probably his worst performance, maybe outside of that Jacksonville game, that in this game. So probably two of his worst performances as a Colt so far. Matt Ryan had two really, really bad interceptions where he just did not. The first one, I don't know what he was looking at. He threw into triple coverage. And then the second one, he just didn't see the defender closing down. So, turned the ball over way too many times, had a couple more fumbles. Matt Ryan just continues to put the ball on the ground and continues to give the ball to the opposing defenses. He has over 10 fumbles now, has double-digit fumbles. He's just really struggled so far with the turnovers. He's really turned the ball over way too many times, and I just really didn't think he looked that sharp. Even when he had the time and protection, he had some poor reads on Thursday, so he's obviously got to clean that up. And the good thing is Colts have some extra time now to clean some of that up with Matt Ryan, look at the film, and hopefully rebound here in a pivotal matchup against Tennessee. Hopefully the Colts will get a better Ryan on Sunday. But yeah, that does it really, guys, for the stock down. And again, with Matt Ryan, how much do you fault him with, he's being pressured and hit and sacked all the time. So, there is that factor in there, but also he has to step up and play better as well. So that does it, guys, for the stock down. Let's move now to the stock up type of guys. And there's a lot of them, like I mentioned, a lot of them in different positions. I'm going to start with the offense as well. I'm going to start with the number 2 wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, and that's Alec Pierce. He's had 2 back-to-back really nice games for the Colts where he has made some plays. He looks really, really good again against Denver. And I think Alec Pierce has really ascended himself into that number 2 role. And that's exciting. I mean, we've had a lot of question marks about the young wide receivers outside of Michael Pittman, and Alec Pierce is starting to calm a little bit of those fears. I honestly didn't think Alec Pierce would show out as early as he has. But it's been great to see him, not just have the long, big bomb plays every so often, but he's consistent, right? He's 6'3", 215, so he can go up there and get a ball, but he also makes those clutch catches when you need him to. And Alec Pierce single-handedly on that last drive of the game to kind of help the Colts get into position to win that game. Alec Pierce was just absolutely on fire. Even when Ryan had pressure in his face, some balls really low, Alec Pierce really made some really crazy, awesome catches for the Colts. And that is exciting because now you have 2 really young receivers in Pittman and also in Pierce that you think you can build around. You really have 2 guys that go out there and make plays when they're called upon. So I think Alec Pierce is solidifying himself as that number 2 wide receiver to take some of the pressure off of Michael Pittman Jr. Now, if Matt Ryan can actually get some protection, I really think these 2 guys can do a lot of damage this year. So he's the first guy. I want to talk about Kylen Granson. Didn't really get targeted a whole lot, but when he did, I thought he looked good again. Kylen Granson continues to ascend and continues to make plays. He had a really nice yard after the catch play on his only catch. The only issue is the Colts just don't target them consistently. And so if the Colts did, I really feel like these tight ends, not just Granson, but Jelani Woods and Mo Ali Cox could really help this offense out. It's kind of baffling. The Colts just really went away from them, especially with how much success they had the week prior against Tennessee with them. So just really odd in that department. But when these guys have had the ball thrown to them, for the most part, they've done a really, really good job with what they've been given. So Granson and all these tight ends, I think stock has to continue to be up for them. If they get targeted, they've consistently made plays. I already mentioned a little bit about, Pinter and Smith on the inside. I thought they played well when they were called upon, kind of out of position for them this year. We all know Pinter's a better center than guard, and then Braden Smith playing guard. He played primarily that at Auburn, but now, switching back to guard. We'll see if they keep him there, but he had one of his best games of the year from a pass protection standpoint. So that's great to see. Let's move on now to the defense. I want to give before I do that, I want to give just a special shout out, honorable mention to the 2 running backs, Deion Jackson, Phillip Lindsay. They weren't like crazy plays, but I thought, they ran hard and they did a good job. So I just want to give them credit where it's due there, especially with how bad this offense looked. I feel like the running backs definitely held their own and did their job to help this team win.
What's going on, everybody? Today I want to talk to you about our sponsor, BetStamp. Now, I know what you're thinking. Derek, another betting app? What is so different about this one now? Well, I got to tell you guys, I'm not into online gambling a whole lot and bets online and everything, but I got to tell you, BetStamp is one of the coolest things I have ever seen in regards to betting online. The great thing about BetStamp is it allows you to see all the different odds from all different sports books and see which one provides you the best odds possible for any game or scenario you want to bet on for your pick versus some of the worst. BetStamp allows you to also buy and sell picks that you have without worrying about losing your money or having any issues with it. Believe me, it's all free. I mean, look at this, guys. You have an option for every game across all different kinds of leagues in a ton of different ways. You have baseball, you have college football, UFC, NBA, and NFL. Great for the NFL season now being here. And if I wanted to bet on this Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills game, it shows me in real time what are the best odds, which sports book I'm going to get the best offer from versus some of the worst ones. Because why would you want to earn less money from PointsBet when you could be winning more from ProLine Plus? Again, a great thing that BetStamp offers you, allowing you to make more money for the same pick just with a different sports book. How easy is that? And the great thing is there's not just games. There's player props. There's game props. There's lines. There's live tracking. There's a ton of great ways to make bets and picks on BetStamp, guys. Totally a cool thing to use. I highly encourage you check it out if you're into any kind of online betting. Even if you're not, give it a check. See what you like about it, because I think I actually enjoy using it. But the best way to get an edge on online sports betting is having multiple accounts at different sports books. Be sure to hit the BetLink page, betstamp.app/onboarding. Be sure to check out the BetStamp app or online, and be sure to use the referral code JUICE, plug in your state, and you'll get access to all their affiliates and their prices once you open it up, seeing all states' lines. Be sure to check this out, guys. You won't want to miss it for the best odds on your next sports bet.
Moving on now to the defense, let's talk about a couple guys on that defensive line that I really think stood out. First guy, DeForest Buckner. He had a couple sacks. He was just all over the place, man. DeForest Buckner looked like the player he was a couple of years ago, where he was just wrecking offensive lines. You know, he had a sack and a half. I don't remember if they technically gave him 2 sacks. I know he was in on 2 sacks. I don't know if they gave him a sack and a half or 2 sacks or what that was. But nevertheless, DeForest Buckner really looked healthy for the first time maybe this whole year. And he really made, the Denver Broncos pay. Like, he was in the backfield consistently. So that's great to see Buckner getting some of that back. And we're seeing him making some more impact players from that 3 technique position. Also, Yannick Ngakoue, really looked good on the edge again. Had a sack and a half. He was in on a couple sacks as well. And then Dayo Odeyingbo continues to shine, continues to show out in the pass rush department. And that's really exciting because this guy's essentially a rookie, guys. Remember, he played pretty much half the season last year, didn't have any training camp, didn't have anything to prepare. He just kind of went out there and played. And so now that he had a full offseason, I've really liked what I've seen from Dayo Odeyingbo. And we don't know, obviously, how long Kwity Paye is going to be out. But if he's out for an extended period of time, Dayo Odeyingbo is going to continue to get more reps at that defensive end position. And so I really think he has an opportunity to really show out here in the absence of Paye. So I thought he looked really good as well. Kenny Moore had a nice bounce back game. He's kind of had a rough start to the season. Kenny Moore had a great pass breakup in the end zone. He continued to just look really good. So it's great to see him rounding back into form. Really had a 4 to 5 games there, even back to last year, where he really was struggling and people were just really confused, like how he went from the best corner in football, arguably at the slot, to just one of the worst out of nowhere. It just was like this huge drop off. So great to see that he so far in the game on Thursday, he looked really, really good. So hopefully he can continue to build off of that and continue to get back to that Pro Bowl level at the slot corner position. I want to give another shout out here to Rodney Thomas, who continues to shine, had his first career interception as a pro on Thursday. He looked really good. He probably should have had 2 or 3, actually. There was the one where the ref kind of got in the way, and it was a huge completion. Probably Denver's only big play of the game was because the NFL ref got in the way of Rodney Thomas. But, he should have had another interception earlier in that game as well. So this guy's been flying all over the field ever since he's gotten the opportunity. The last couple of weeks with Julian Blackmon being out, Rodney Thomas has been the guy at that free safety position, and he's looked really good. And guys, I think personally, even when Julian Blackmon gets back, I think Rodney Thomas deserves some sort of role in this defense. That's how good he is playing, in my opinion. So really hope that he, as a rookie, continues to, make plays out there, continue to be a good player at that free safety position as long as Blackmon is out. And then, when Blackmon does get back, hopefully he can contribute and kind of be that third safety as well. And he's been the big surprise. Everybody thought it was going to be the other rookie the Colts drafted at safety, Nick Cross, but it's been largely Rodney Thomas. And so want to give him a special shout out for his first career interception at the NFL level. The 7th round pick out of Yale. And then I want to talk about one more guy that I want to give credit to, and that is Chase Mclaughlin. He hit all his field goals on Thursday Night Football. And really, guys, that was the difference in this game. Chase Mclaughlin looked really good at kicker. And I personally think now he's solidified himself as a starting kicker moving forward. He had a bad miss against Tennessee a week prior to that. But overall, I think McLaughlin just offers you a level of comfortability you just didn't have with Rodrigo Blankenship. I mean, this guy, yeah, while he might struggle sometimes from 40, he's pretty consistent. And with the Colts, he's been pretty consistent every chance he's gotten with them. Now his second stint with the team. So I'm really hoping the Colts continue to give him an opportunity. I really think he has what it takes to be a good kicker in this league. And he showed again that, even though that, Thursday Night Football, prime time, he had every excuse to miss that kick or miss one of those key kicks in crunch time, in overtime, but he didn't. He made them. And so just want to give him credit where that is due. I like Chase McLaughlin. Hopefully he's the kicker for the Indianapolis Colts moving forward. And I think, guys, that does it for my look at players stock up and stock down from this previous game from week 5 of the NFL season for the Indianapolis Colts. Let me know, guys, if there's anybody else that I missed. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.